So there are some clays that have a special, unique ability to take organic paint, that is paint that's made purely from plant material, and allow it to make black carbon designs on the pottery. Somehow in the firing, these clays are able to take that carbon and lock it away so that it doesn't burn out, or doesn't burn out as easily as it would otherwise. So this is a great example. This pot was painted with paint that I made from yucca fruit. It's just a syrup that I made from boiling down yucca fruit. And I painted it on, and this white is just a very thin slip of this material here. And in the firing, it made carbon designs. It's not on the surface, you can't scrub it off. The designs are actually down in the clay. So they're permanent. Now most clays will not do that. If I'd painted that organic paint on the red areas, it would have left no design at all, or very faint designs. So this clay has a special property. I'm not sure that any scientists have ever done a study to understand how that works exactly. If you'd like to learn more about this, check out Anna Shepard's great book, Ceramics for the Archaeologist. And she talks a little bit about it, specifically when she's talking about the slip that they used at Santo Domingo and Cochiti Pueblos in New Mexico, which she describes as a bentonite clay slip. Bentonite is a type of smectite. Now, up in the Four Corners area, Clint Swink, who rediscovered the method for firing an Anasazi trench kiln back in the 90s, had some of his famous clay slip that he and a lot of other Anasazi replicators use, called Cannonball White. He had some of that tested, and it came back as Montmorillonite, which is also a type of Smectite clay slip. Smectites are clays that are formed from volcanic ash falls that then chemically erode into clays. This particular clay comes from the Chinle Formation near the Little Colorado River Valley. Having clays tested can be very expensive, so I really have no way of knowing that this is Smectite, other than that it has a high shrinkage rate, which Smectites do, and that it holds organic paint very well. So today, I'm measuring out this clay that I collected up in northern Arizona into 4-ounce packets that I then am able to sell on my website to people who want to try doing the Salato Challenge. So here's what the Salato Challenge is. This year I've gone to some collections and I've looked at Salato polychrome pottery from ancient times, and I've selected a handful that I'm going to try to replicate. You too can make these same pots and take a picture and upload it to Instagram with the hashtag Salato Challenge, and then we can all see them, and I will share those pictures here on my YouTube channel. If you'd like to learn more about the Salato Challenge and look at those pots and get the measurements of those that I've selected, I'll put the link to that video right over here so you can check that out. So if you want to participate in the Salato Challenge, you're welcome to order some of this off of my website, or you can order some bentonite, which is commonly available online and at stores all over the place. You may also be able to get your hands on some Montmorillonite or some other form of Smectite clay, either commercially available or in your local area. In the meantime, I will have these packets available on my website if you're interested in that. It's almost pure clay, so there's very little processing or purifying that is needed because there's not a lot of impurities in it. So what I do is I just take it and I stick it in a pot and I cover it with water and let it soak for a day, maybe 2 or 3 days. Just let it soak up that water. And then get yourself like a spoon or a brush or something and just get in there and mush it all up. Try to break down those lumps as best you can. Now, at this point, make sure it's fairly thin. Add a little extra water, make sure it's relatively thin, and then you're gonna pass it through a paint strainer. So for large batches of clay, I use one of those paint strainer bags that goes over a 5-gallon bucket. But for small amounts like slip, I like these little cone-shaped strainers. Now you can get these at hardware stores, and they have a very fine mesh, so it'll get rid of all the lumps out of your clay. Now just take your liquid clay that you've soaked and pass it through here, a little bit at a time, and then use a brush or something to kind of work it through the screen. And you're gonna get lumps and it's gonna clog up. So you wanna take those lumps and clean those out, and then come back and try a little more and work it through and then get rid of the lumps. Eventually you're gonna have a lot of really nice, smooth clay slip that you're able to apply to your pots. Now make sure you apply that really thin because it has a high shrinkage rate. If it gets too thick, it'll crackle and start coming off. Apply it to a damp pot, super thin. Now, the stuff you knock out of your strainer, all those lumps, don't throw that away. Take that, dry it out, then re-soak it, repass it through the strainer. Those aren't impurities, They're just lumps of clay. So as you start breaking those down more, you will end up passing almost 100% of this clay through the strainer. You just have to make sure it's broken down. So dry it, re-slake it, repass it through the strainer. Eventually you'll get it all used. All right? I hope that works out for you, and I can't wait to see what you guys make. Thanks for watching.